Okay, now once again, we have Mr. Monsieur Kibria. Actually, we lost him earlier. He started his presentation, but something happened, some technical glitch took place. Because of that, we couldn't hear from him. Now he is ready to do his presentation once again. Journalism in the digital age, understanding the influence of social media. Yes, Mansoor, you can go ahead. You have 7 minutes.
Yeah, thanks. First of all, I'm extremely sorry. And these kind of things happen when we do conference over internet. Uh, doesn't matter how much fast we have internet, but when we are doing international conferences over internet, I always have found that something happens, just happens. There is no cost for it. Okay, so the topic I was talking is journalism in the digital age, understanding the influence of social media. And I have already told that you see the change is not just about for lots of people they think that the change is actually about the dissemination of journalism, for example how we perceive different information from media houses, but that is not the only change that occurred, because from the seed for example from gathering the news to and finally dissemination, all in this process there has been changes, and the changes are actually because of social media. Okay, so the objective of the study is understanding how social media has transformed the traditional news media ecosystem, identifying the opportunities and challenges that social media has introduced analytics practices, and of course, examining the role of user-generated content in shaping news narratives and exploring how the rise of social media has bolstered the spread of fake news and its implication for journalistic integrity, and finally, analyzing how social media algorithms influence access to news and their impact. So basically the objectives are turned into the question. So I will be looking on how social media has changed the total traditional news media ecosystem. So when I am saying traditional news media ecosystem, how do you know? For example, we have reporters in the root level. They collect, gather news, and they then send it to the capital. And from capital, the houses process those information, and then they deliver it to newspaper or maybe over television. So this is what I am actually working on, like how the practice, how the overall practice has changed from gathering the information, then making the news, and then finally disseminating in all sections. How social media has changed the whole process, the ecosystem. What I am calling is the new or digital news media ecosystem. And of course there are some relevant questions I would try to find in my research, and such as what opportunities and challenges does social media provide for journalistic practices, what role does user generated content play in journalism, and so on. Okay, so as I have a very limited time, I will carry on my presentation. And of course, the research methodology. So in methodology, I first approached the secondary data, which I have done through using literature review. So established a theoretical. So the target is to establish a theoretical framework and identify gaps in existing research on journalism, social media, and communication practices. So I have gone through lots of theories and lots of concepts, such as I've been reading a book by Pamela Shoemaker, which is named Gatekeeping Theory. I think many of you know that. So gatekeeping theory could be a very wonderful theory to analyze traditional and of course the new digital media, because it tells how actually gatekeepers keep the information. But now when social media has come to the scene, and now the what we should say, that the bosses of the news, which are actually controlling the dissemination of news for a long period, they doesn't have that authority anymore, because the gatekeeping is actually not functioning in that way. But still, when we are talking digital media, I have found that the old traditional media owners also own the new digital media. So that's why it's very tough. But still, of course, when social media, everyone can be a citizen journalist. So the way the power it had in the past, that doesn't actually work no longer in that way. Okay, so I have done a literature review, so and I have gone through journals, books, and credible online sources to frame the study and provide context. And then a survey. collect quality. I'm actually collecting. It's an ongoing project. So collect quantitative data on perceptions of social media's impact on journalism from at least 120 journalists and media professionals across 10 media houses. So I have targeted 10 media houses from both the capital and the other city areas from Bangladesh, and then I am actually targeting at least 120 journalists from different age groups and of course different positions. He could be a program producer, or he could be a reporter, or he could be just a desk reporter, anything. But I have tried to mix a very interesting pool of population, and of course 10 media houses, which includes the popular one and also the lesser popular or the rural or urban one.
Recording stopped.
And then, of course, I'm doing a survey to gather data on journalistic routine. So you see, here the most important word is journalistic routine. So what is a journalistic routine? You see,
Recording in progress.
journalistic routine is kind of a behavior which the journalist follows. Okay, so for like hundreds, no, like more than 50 or 60 years, journalists actually have a their own way of own way of reporting things or collecting news. So now you see, from the gathering also has changed. Just I was saying that now journalists go to the internet or go to the social media to find what is now in trending, what is now in what people are talking about. So that is how they create news. They create news from citizen journalists. For in our country, we have seen some misinformation, or there are lots of conspiracy and corruption, and then citizen journalists brought those things to the public. Then the traditional houses picked those news and made news. So that you can see that the gathering also has changed. So I'm actually or surveying of those things, those behaviors by a Google form, or doing also some what should I say, the key informant interview. So I'm actually obtaining at least 12 chief news editors, media experts, and academics about social media
Mr.
impact
Manjur, you
on
have 2
journalism. I
more
have
minutes.
interviewed 4 people already. And of course, the interviews will be semi-structured, and I'm actually approaching that way. Already have done at least 10 to 20 interviews. So, and of course, transcribing those, coding and analyzing interviews thematically, because without thematical analysis, we wouldn't be able to find any conclusion. And to make the total approach a holistic approach, so we are actually, you can see that I am actually using both qualitative and quantitative data. I'm doing survey at the same time I'm doing interview, and I'm also analyzing case studies so that I can have a very concrete findings from my research. Okay, so I won't go to the data analysis techniques, but that's a very, I think, in-depth discussion. But for the findings, I have what findings, primary findings I have gathered. Okay, so first of all, the new roles. You see, just go back to 10 years. That time there wasn't any post like social media managers. Okay, so now every media houses have a social media manager. There are roles such as social media editors, or for photo card designers. So those roles are created because of social media, because social media has created a platform where you need certain things which is not part of traditional journalism. For example, you in the past you didn't need any photo card, but now you need photo card, because that is a very popular way of conveying message to the general audience. So then of course social media
1
manager
minute
who manages
more.
the social media, all the platforms, all the dissemination of news and also on. So these roles has been created because of social media. So this is how social media is influencing journalism, because it's creating new roles. Okay, so then skill development has been a very important part, because social media has shown us. And of course, when we talk about multimedia journalism works very well through website, and to popular youth website or disseminate your website, social media is the greatest platform. So the social media or the website, whatever you say, needs very different kind of skills. You need to know just for example, I teach the course multimedia journalism at my university, and I have seen, you see, journalism has changed from its core, because now all the houses expect someone who knows everything. For example, he can edit videos, he can do graphic designing, he know how to do search engine optimizations and all those things. So skill has been a very paramount for this new changing landscape.
Mr.
And then
Manjur, you can
algorithm is just a
you can,
huge place
come
where
in.
about we can talk a lot. Algorithm, I can see, you see,
Mr. Manjur,
few years
the
ago,
time
I
is
was talking
over.
with one of my students. He was
Your
Hello.
time is over. You can wrap up the thing. You can you come to the conclusion and finish your presentation. I can
Yes,
give you one more minute to you, so you can come to the end of your presentation and you can conclude. Right? Okay.
It's just done.
Take one more minute.
Is there, and then the fake news has been a very long issue for this country. We all know that, and we're fighting this. And it's not just Bangladesh. I think all the South Asian countries are facing a huge. Social media has been a very wonderful platform to disseminate fake news and all that. So we are working on the literacy as well. So this research also finds those areas very interesting, and how journalism has, by social media, it has created a very intriguing, at the same time very frightened situation for the journalist, because anyone can publish things and anyone can disseminate a fake news, and people also always don't go and justify or just search for things is this true or not, but they are like, so there are lots of these developments are working. So this is my presentation. Thanks everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Manjur. Please wait. I want to ask one question. Actually, I asked the same question from your earlier colleague, but he was not there. Can you tell me now? You mentioned about the social media and the social media impact on the society in your presentation. Now, Bangladesh faced a very tough situation previously, a short time ago, and what can you say about the impact of social media, fake news, AI generated materials during this hard time to affect the public views and all other aspects in Bangladesh?
It's a very wonderful question. And when we talk about the recent movements, what happened in Bangladesh, the social media has played the biggest role, because the social media was what actually spread the movement. Everyone get aware of the what is happening, what the Sheikh Hasina government doing with the general people of this country, and the people gathered by following the post of social media. Journalists who are bound by the houses to show certain kind of news to support the Sheikh Hasina regime, but social media was the place where everyone can talk. So when we talk about the 36 July movement, it's all about social media, and mostly it's all about Facebook, because that was the only weapon which was used by the journalists who really want to change in this country. So that played a form dissemination of news from to collect people together and raise their voice. Social media has played a pivotal role during this recent movements in Bangladesh.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a very good answer. Thank you very much for your presentation. Yes. Now with that, actually the other presenter, Mr. Abdul Basit, is not there. Our organizers informed me. So now I am moving to Mr. SMCMW Kumar. He is going to talk about the use of technology as a tool for personal sexual violence. Little bit darker here. Yes, his topic was the